NHL 18, expansion into contention, headlined by the adrenaline-infused threes. NHL 18 takes the ice and for the most part is par for the course while adding in a few subtle features to its gameplay along with one freakishly fun new game mode. Like a young veteran, NHL 18 has a solid core, adds a few elements to refine its overall value, and even tries a few tricks to keep up with the sport's changing landscape. The game mirrors the real-life NHL's modern feel across the board, from its emphasis on 3-on-3 hockey to its overall movement to being a true young man's game. Right from the onset, NHL 18 takes a careful approach in not just trying to differentiate itself from its predecessors, but by starting players off on the right foot, or skate. When launching the game for the first time, you are given the option to jump into training camp. It's a series of tutorials that is narrated by Ray Ferraro and shows examples of how to execute each move, both in-game and with real-life hockey players. It's a nice addition because it not only shows you how to perform a basic maneuver, it also tells you why they're important. I ended up playing through each and every scenario before jumping into the game, even though I have purchased every version of the series since NHL 08, and I'm quite familiar with the controls. Everything from shooting to passing to defense with the new defensive skill stick to face-offs to basic and advanced deking are taught. I found face-offs interesting because it had been a while since I took the time to study which strategy beats which, think rock, paper, scissors, and what signals to look for from my opponent. Advanced deking is something I'm simply not that good at, but with this year's additions and abilities, I found myself experimenting in every game I played. Anything you see in the game's promotional videos is possible to do in the actual game. It's a dream I've always had since the days of playing NHL 2001 as a wee young lad. There's no difference between those videos and the actual gameplay, and there's something to be said for that. On top of the insane dekes you cannot perform, the new defensive skill stick is quite the welcomed addition. I absolutely love this new aspect because controlling your player without the puck feels more authentic than ever. In past games, poke checking was a nightmare. If you mistimed your check, you would likely end up tripping your opponent and spend the next 2 minutes in the penalty box. Now, you have much more control of your stick. Holding down the left bumper on the Xbox One activates the defensive skill stick, while the right thumbstick controls where your hands and stick go. You can swing the stick quickly, go for a poke check, or simply try to get your stick into a passing lane. It is quite effective if you know what you're doing, and of course, as long as you're not reckless. I've been to the penalty box a lot less while simultaneously upping my defensive game, which I already thought was solid. Humble brag. In years past, when EA would add a new element to the game, that new element wouldn't always fit in so seamlessly. The defensive skill stick is balanced and certainly not overbearing, as it nicely counters the new deking abilities brought to the game. Once you're past the initial training and setup screen in NHL 18, you'll notice a revamped menu screen. Finally! After years of the same, the game has something fresh. Though it has a new slew of songs in the soundtrack, it also mixes in last year's during games. It's not just more aesthetically pleasing than before, but it's highly functional and efficient, with every game mode and settings option all on one screen. It sounds like an odd thing to praise, but everything counts, and this makes jumping between game modes seamless. Just about every game mode from NHL 17 is back, with one big exception in the World Cup of Hockey. Franchise mode, Be a Pro, Hockey Ultimate Team, Draft Champions, and the ever-popular EA SHL are all present. The shiny new game mode to this year's game is called Threes, and holy jumpin', it is better than advertised. It has been years, if not a decade, since I've been as addicted to any mode in any game as I am to threes. The concept is simple. Choose 3 skaters and a goalie, jump into a mini ice rink, and go to town. There are no icings, offsides, or penalties. The occasional tripping penalty is called, but it results in a penalty shot instead of a 2-minute minor. Hitting from behind and boarding, completely legal. The fun comes with the money puck option, which allows for multiple points to be scored at once. In the top left, next to the game score, you will either see a puck, a flaming puck with a number, or an ice puck with a number. If the puck is flaming and you score, your team gets the points equivalent to the number on the puck, making it easy to erase deficits. The caveat is that a negative values can be assigned. Enter the ice puck. If the puck is iced when you score, your team gets 1 point, but the other team gets the numeric value shown taken away, meaning goals can be erased. It's quite the adrenaline rush, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't play this mode on repeat until 5 in the morning on release night. You can choose to either set a time limit or play up to a certain number of goals. In addition, there is a 3-circuit mode that lets you play in different arenas and against different opponents in a campaign-like setting. For each victory, you unlock more players for your team, including any of the 31 NHL mascots. Yes, you read that right. It's hilarious and awesome all at once. Threes seems to take inspiration from the famed former NHL Hits franchise back in the day. I'll be playing Threes until my controller's thumbsticks wear down to nothing. NHL 18 is worth picking up even if you purchased last year's game. Despite little to no change in gameplay, the addition of Threes along with the somewhat deep and enticing expansion options and franchise mode make NHL 18 a contender. NHL 18 was reviewed on an Xbox One. It is also available on PlayStation 4. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to keep up with the Geekiverse across social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and share this with a friend. View live video game streaming on our Twitch channel, and watch regular videos and shows right here on youtube.com/thegeekiverse.